Wow, I think Fitz is the only person to reference the 2004 Pistons other than myself. Wow.
Yeah, I was about to say, hold on.
Thank you, Evan. That
Well,
brightened my evening.
well, I don't tie it
I'm
in.
just going to go out and say it. Joey Chestnut has to be on the pub.
Has to
Not
be.
pub more. I mean,
Has to be.
Dramatic, man. That was a journey.
Fitzmagic in September is like one of the hottest athletes in the world.
So you want to talk about putting a team on your back? Luka is Larry Bird reincarnated. This man might get it done.
And so there's a joke that that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to get traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Tom Brady was like, nah, you're going to go with that motherfucker? Like, I'm coming back.
10 seconds.
I gotta.
Oh, no. Oh, no. And that was my fault. I muted the mics. What an idiot. Welcome to episode 110. Thank you, Fitz, for watching out for us from above. We got a great episode. We had a great intro there. We just ruined it. But 110 weeks we've been doing this thing. We're going to keep it rolling. We're going to do better from here on out. But anyways, random sports fact. The great Gambino, king of swing, Babe Ruth hits number 700 in your home city of Detroit, Tim. Cracks it out of the park, into the streets. 17-year-old kid named Benny picks this thing up. Before he can stand all the way up, ushers rush him. They say, you're coming with us. They go to the locker room, to the dugout with Babe Ruth and just that 1934 Yankees team. And that's full of studs. 17-year-old kid, you're flustered. You got grown men in suits coming at you. Plus, you're with the idols of that decades. Babe Ruth. How cool would that be? Sit in the same room with him.
Man, that'd be awesome.
Babe Ruth says, look, I want that baseball bat. I'll give you $20 for it. Now, you're like, oh, hold on. Back then, it was worth $400. It translated, with adjusting for inflation and stuff. So for a 17-year-old kid, $400. All right, I don't blame him. He gives up the ball. That same ball would go for millions of dollars now.
Oh my gosh.
Babe Ruth didn't even have the cash to give to him. He had to get the cash from somebody else in the locker room, like an assistant coach or like someone who works in the stadium. He signs the $20 bill for him, which that's worth a little bit more now.
Okay.
But pretty much this kid gives up everything for a little bit of money there. Babe Ruth has a history of lowballing sales. He once got his $600th home run ball for $10. So he's just been known to like not fork out cash.
Wow.
There was reports that he said if there's an older gentleman, give them like $100 or $1,000. Who knows? Who knows if he'd actually done that or not? But my question is, what is a piece of memorabilia that you would not give up no matter what? Or maybe it's the ultimate sports memorabilia. It doesn't have to cost a lot. Maybe it doesn't have a high resale value, but to you, it's priceless.
Oh, man. That is a good question. First of all, shame on them for intimidating this 17-year-old boy.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it. Actually, I know we talked about it. There's nothing really sentimental, but yeah, I think at the time it was Tom Brady's, was it 600th? It was one of Tom Brady. It was like, dang. Was it 600?
We just talked
touchdown?
about this too. Yeah, I think so.
And Mike Evans, like, wasn't even thinking. I think he just handed it to, he threw it to someone in the stands. And like, there was this whole debacle of like, they were trying to get this ball back. I would do everything in my power. I would have held onto that ball. So for whatever, it doesn't matter. Bitcoin, I think he ended up getting some Bitcoin, whatever. Keep it all. I'm keeping that ball because I'm telling you, man, in 10, 15, 20 years, we're going to see this headline. And it's going to be like eBay breaking records sold, autographed 700 ball, not autographed, but Tom Brady 700 touchdown or whatever it was. And it's going to be like, the number is just going to blow your mind. So like, oh my gosh.
That's going to be generational wealth.
Crazy. And I know everyone's like, oh, he ended up getting, it was like what, season tickets or 2 seasons worth of tickets and like a Bitcoin and some other junk. And I was like, I would have told him to go pound sand. I would have been, I'm keeping this thing, man. You ain't getting this ball for me. No one is taking this ball from me. What about you? What would be yours?
Man, I don't know. I'm glad you brought that up because the kid also got box seats anytime the Yankees came into Detroit because the kid was from Detroit. So he got some tickets in there too. I forgot to bring that up. This probably means nothing. It caught, you could probably find it on eBay for maybe $100, $200. But when Ocho Cinco punted the football with the pylon, I want the pylon or his gold grill he used to wear. I don't know. It's kind of gross, but
that would have been cool, man.
Like, just put that right behind me. Like, that would be dope.
So many people would be like, what is that behind you? You're like, oh, that right there. That is the pylon that Ocho Cinco punted.
Let me tell you about it. Yeah. I think that would, but like, if you're going for Rita, I mean, anything with Brady, like, could you imagine like his first ever touchdown ball?
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh.
That's gotta be unheard of.
I'm trying to think of now, like who in what sport right now, I guess, would that be applicable to like the version of like the $20, like maybe, I don't know. What if like, I'm thinking of Fitz. What if something happened with Luka and Fitz had like a basketball that Luka was
his shooting sleeve or something?
Yeah, some important thing from Luka, and Luka was like, "Hey Fitz, like, appreciate you being one of my fans. Like, hey, I'll give you $10,000 for that." Like, I'm trying to think of what the equivalent would be. I'd be like, "Heck no, I'm keeping this thing."
Yeah. It would have to be like someone you don't care about, but like still high resale value, like Roethlisberger for me. Like if I caught Roethlisberger's 600th ball or whatever because someone threw it in the stand,
yeah,
I'd be like, sure, I don't really want this like Pittsburgh paraphernalia in my house. Like, all right, give me 10 grand for it, and we're off. Yeah, because but that the level of Babe Ruth, that's like Jordan, Kobe, LeBron.
Yeah.
No, just letting him a lot of basketball. Even McGuire, Sosa back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Man.
Oh,
20
for you,
bucks.
Ben Wallace's pick, maybe,
Yo, I would have loved like a headband or something.
Hamilton's mask.
Oh my gosh. That
would be
cool.
sick. Put that on Barry.
I'll get it for him now. I have to get a face mask now.
Yeah.
Good
I
idea.
love it. Well, that's our Raven Sports Fat. Next week, come ready. We got some more. I don't think we can run out. There's so many cool sports facts out there and just so many random things.
They're everywhere.
Well, let's talk about a young up-and-comer guy who hasn't quite got a chance to prove himself. He had a lot of hype coming out of high school, played 1 year at college, and has had success in the NBA, but hasn't been consistently on the court. He's been injured a lot. He actually put on a lot of weight this past season. People went on. Zion Williamson. He's getting a 5-year extension for $193 million locked in, guaranteed. He can get up to $231 million if he wins Rookie of the Year, if he wins Defensive Player of the Year, or gets All NBA honors. So he can get this thing jacked up for an extra $40 million if he needs to. A lot of people criticizing this deal because he hasn't been healthy. He's been injured on and off the court. It's just things just haven't clicked for Zion in New Orleans yet. What's your thoughts on this?
I can't help it. He's been hyped for a long time and immediately compared to LeBron. So I was thinking like when did LeBron get his first contract? Or I guess what was LeBron's first extension? So I did a quick Goog. So LeBron, for the first 4 years, he had 18.8 million. He got a 3-year extension worth 60 million. That's nowhere close to what this guy's making right now.
No.
And he hasn't, LeBron, my Pistons, right? My Pistons really, he forged LeBron similar to, the bad boys forging Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Zion hasn't done that. And so it's part of me is like, I get you have to pay this, you have to pay him on his potential and what he can do for you. But like, you kind of go back to the recent like prodigy in LeBron, and this does not equate at all. And so you're just like, man, either the Pelicans or either they are all in. I mean, they are all in, but either this is going to this is sink or swim, I think, for them. Because what else are you doing? Like, if he gets hurt for the next season or continually for the next 5 seasons, all your money's wrapped up in this.
Yeah. There's no future without him. I agree. He missed this entire season with a foot injury. His injuries date back to at Duke. He was out for a lot of the season. Patella, I think he either partially tore it or maybe patella tendonitis. I can't remember which one in his rookie year. Like, I'm with you. Like, this is giving up the king's ransom for question mark. Maybe we shouldn't bad talk Zion. Maybe he's coming through your camera now trying to destroy you.
Gosh.
Get that New Orleans voodoo on you. But that comparison to LeBron is absolutely right. As soon as he came out of high school, people were like, he's the next LeBron. He's going to be better than LeBron. And I hate LeBron, but I can at least say he's been consistently on the court week after week, season after season.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, so from the Pelicans' perspective, you can't, what do you do? Like, you can't let this guy walk because, when he's on the court, when he's on the court, his numbers, his first 2 seasons when he played are pretty good. Really good. The problem is him being on the court.
Exactly.
And so it's like, I guess if you're in that situation, you can't let him walk because, man, when he's on the court, he can change things. So it is, they always talk. I feel like on these sports networks, they always talk about these small markets, like Charlotte and Portland and New Orleans. Like, this is something that they have to. This is either going to make or break them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot more is resting on Zion than just on the court. I think I think there's gonna be a lot of jobs. I feel like resting on Zion too, because this is it, man. Like a small market, you can't. I guess they're banking on maybe like through the draft, they're trying to get younger talent around him, or like
That's what I'm
cheap
thinking.
talent. Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't. I mean, I feel like right now too, KD's all the buzz. You're not attracting like a superstar when you're already sinking this much money into him. You can't afford it unless you
No.
move a lot of pieces, and then what are you left with? Just a skeleton crew. So I don't know, man. It's crazy.
The NBA is so weird right now because like the two teams in the finals this year, they developed their talent, but they didn't give up any king's ransom for any of those players. And now it seems like they're like the two outliers. It feels like most NBA teams are giving up their complete future for just superstars, or they're banking on young guys being superstars, and they're giving up, they're backing the Brinks trucks up for them and say, hey, it's going to be you and maybe like a second tier player.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to another superstar, Kevin Durant, KD. KD no longer wants to be on the Brooklyn Nets. Can't really blame him. The experience didn't work out. You got Kyrie, James Harden, and Kyrie, KD, and James Harden in there. It didn't work out. I think we saw it coming. We've talked about it before. A lot of superstars, a lot of, hey, give me the ball. That's too many personalities on the team. You got to have role players in there too, and it just didn't work out. Well, he's listed as 3 top teams he wants to go to: Suns, Miami, and Portland. All seem to be gearing up for KD, with maybe a Utah Jazz resurgence in there. I know you're working on your camera there.
Yeah, I'm here, buddy. I'm just trying to get it fixed.
You're good. But KD's, you can't argue his numbers, his stats. He is one hell of a player. Every team he's played on, he's produced for them every single season. Points, assists, defensively. He's put in the work, and he's got his team maybe not to that championship level minus Golden State, but he's got them right there. He's got them nipping at the heels. Any of those 3 teams, you see a big fit for him, or maybe it's another team we didn't talk about. I didn't have on the screen.
I guess, honestly, I think him going to the Suns or the Heat, what they would have to give away, I think it's taking a lot of what their younger talent has proven so far.
Exactly.
We touched base a little bit about smaller markets, but I feel like right now a lot of people are pounding the table. Damian Lillard needs KD, together, he can't do it alone. Together they can do it. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him in Portland, put some respect on it, but
yeah.
Honestly, I would be very leery of the other two, of getting him on there, because what you're going to give up, because Gobert went for 4. Who went for 4 first-round picks? It was Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert. Yeah.
And so now you're looking at least that worth of picks. And so if I look at the Suns and the Heat, if I was a fan, I wouldn't want KD for that. Because look how far you guys made it further in the playoffs than KD. So why would you want to give up some young talent and future stock for that? So I don't know. I think, my opinion, I think Portland's the way to go.
I think you're absolutely right. Tim, your mic might be a little off there. I don't know if you got it plugged back in or not.
Yeah, gummit.
But no, I completely agree with you. To me, we just talked about the Jazz giving up getting 4 first-round picks for Gobert. You got 4 first-round picks. That might be worth saying, hey, Brooklyn, here's 4 first-rounders. We'll take KD, because that team, I feel like there's enough young talent in there. KD gets in there, and you sign him for a 5-year contract. Utah Jazz can get up and go now. And you only gave up what you just got in. So it's not like you really gave up too much in the first place. You're not giving up any players on your after roster. You still got 2nd-round picks, and they weren't really your first 4-round picks anyways. So in my eyes, you have nothing to lose here. You got Mike Conley on that team, Donovan Mitchell, Clarkson, Whiteside. I mean, that Rudy Gay, that team can go out there and possibly compete for a championship right off the gate.
Dang, I didn't even think about that. If that is on the table, you have to be pissed. Where'd he go? Atlanta? Atlanta gave that up?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was the Hawks.
If you're an Atlanta fan, I'm sorry. Man, you just gave up everything, and then that'd be hilarious if they just take your picks. Like,
It's just-
Katie, come on down here. Like, oh my gosh.
It reminds me of the Office episode. Me and Claudia just watched it, where Andy sells his car to Dwight, and Dwight turns around and flips it for like $3,000 more. That's the same thing. Like, wild time. But to me, that makes a lot of sense to me. We'll see. Any other thoughts about NBA or KD?
Man, that's a good point. I guess wherever Kyrie Irving goes is like the kiss of death. Like, he's the Jay Gray of the NBA. Wherever he goes, death follows. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Kyrie, I don't know. Like, he's a ball player, but the same thing. It's a similar idea with Zion, just different reasons. You got to be on the court, man.
He's got to
If
be
you're-
on the
if-
court.
If you're eating that much money up, you got to be on the court. And I don't know. Oh gosh, I don't know what happened between him and KD, but like on paper, you see those two, and you're like, "Dang, that's going to be a good squad."
Yeah.
And they just totally dumped in the bed. And it's like, wow,
I
that
feel
was
like if
not
you're
good.
No, I feel like if you're like playing NBA 2K and like you got KD, Kyrie, and James Harden all on the same team, like
You're going undefeated.
yeah, like no one's holding close to you. Like it's crazy, but I'm with you. I think like we talked about, like you just talked about with Zion and stuff. If Kyrie's on the court, and I feel like he's also maybe not the greatest team player. I don't know. Maybe I'm speculating there, but it just doesn't seem like there's a good vibe with the culture. Like I've never seen someone like, yo, Kyrie's the best teammate I've ever had. I love that guy. I wish we'd re-sign him. I haven't heard a single story about that. Maybe I'm wrong. I like Kyrie. I'm a Duke fan. You know, his 1 year at Duke, I know he was on the court a whole lot, but he's still partial to me. But I just never have heard a good Kyrie story being like, that's my dude. That's my boy.
Yeah, and to your point, what was it? Boston? What were they chanting? What was Boston chanting to Kyrie? Like, I don't know
Kyrie
the
sucks. Kyrie's
yeah.
a bitch. Yep.
I don't know the whole deal with that, but like the only other player I could think that maybe that was a problem would be like LeBron coming back to Cleveland after he went to Miami.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like that, like then he came back and brought him a championship. Like you don't see players leaving. Like I don't know. I was saying I doubt like wherever Katie goes, whenever he goes to Brooklyn, do you think they're going to say Katie sucks? Do you think that'll happen with KD?
I don't see it. No. Like
I don't know, man. That's an interesting point. Like Kyrie, he kind of, I feel like lately he's been leaving ashes in his wake. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens. But
it's fucking burning. Like he's gonna go to all 30 teams and burn them to the ground.
no.
He's coming to Detroit next.
Oh God.
All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk about a little college sports. Predominantly college football, but this affects all college sports in the Big Ten. The Big Ten's expanding, and they're going West Coast, baby. They're picking up USC and UCLA as soon as 2024. They're hopping over. This one's head scratching. It's mind boggling in a way to me because Big Ten is middle of the country, East Coast, cold as balls. It's snowing. It's just blue collared people. USC, UCLA, it doesn't get like below 70 degrees for most of their playing time. Yeah, there's some at night games in Arizona and stuff that gets a little chilly, but for the most part, they're sitting there chilling on the beach, drinking a nice Corona with John Gruden out there. Like, this is a culture shock. Anytime you're flying to the East Coast, you got a time difference of 3 hours. So now your noon kickoff is really 9 a.m. for you guys. And the fans got to get up at 9 a.m. This is something that they're not going to be used to. I don't get this move. I get it for the Big Ten because it's two big names you're getting it. It doesn't make sense for those two big names to come over. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I think they were talking, Rich Eisen had someone on his show about like focusing on the broadcasting. And I guess the Big Ten right now is in some negotiation with television contracts. I mean, if you're the Big Ten and these teams are like, hey, we want to join you and we're on the other side of the country. I mean, that's the only negotiation tactic you need. You can just, you go to the TVs and you're like, look, we got West Coast and we got East Coast covered. You're getting all the coverage. I mean, I guess from a business standpoint, it makes sense, but it reminds me of like when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were in the NFC North,
Mm.
and they're just like, what? How does? I remember growing up, and I was like, that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I know I'm
Yeah.
like a little toddler, but like, they're in the South.
Why
Like
is
that-
Tampa there?
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Like people growing up, like these young kids growing up, and they're getting into college football. They're gonna be like, wait a minute. They're gonna do like the double take. Like, this isn't adding up. So-
Time out.
I don't know, man. I guess business wise it makes sense, but initially it's just head scratching. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, is it going to affect recruiting? Because like, I don't know about. Obviously, I don't know about a lot of recruits, but like, if I'm getting recruited to a school, I'm also taking academics into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Like these kids are going to have to travel a lot,
Yeah.
and so it's like, man, how? I mean, Devin. If Devin was on here, he'd tell us how it was, being a walk-on and not having the expectation of being a scholarship player, but then still performing in academics. And it's like, you're telling me I got to travel across the country how many times a year in one season? I think, I don't know. I mean, they got the clout, but like, you got to wonder if it's going to affect the recruiting.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree because, like, that's something a lot of young people don't think about. But you're gonna be spending a lot of time on a plane or bus. Your only conference game is right there in your own backyard, and everything else, you're going across the country. Like, I don't know. Like, if you're those teams, do you just set up camp? Like, you schedule Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State back to back to back if they're all away games, and you set up camp for 3 weeks out there. Like, how do you do this? Because it's not like you have an NFL billions of dollars to play with, anyways.
Yeah, that would be hell. Can you imagine? It's
Fucking
like, hey
remote
boys, we're going to the Midwest for 3 weeks, and you got Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State.
just back to back to back.
Yeah, good luck with that. Oh my gosh.
Oh, by the way, it's 12 degrees outside. So,
Oh man, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But like, yeah, I heard about this too, and I was just like, what? They're doing what? Big Ten?
I thought I misheard it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Big 12. That's what they meant.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And, there was more news today that, let's see if I can get it. I don't know what's going on.
6 teams. Oh.
Let's see. Come on, pull it up. What are you doing? All right, yeah, we'll do it this way. So, the Big 12 is looking to add 6 teams to their roster. Like, if this happens, the Pac-12 is dead. Done. Put a knife in it because they're dead. They want to add Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Oregon, Utah, and Washington to the list. Like, okay, Oregon, that's like the number 1 contender. Utah is kind of hit or miss. Colorado,
Washington's okay, but Washington's pretty good.
Yeah, Washington's pretty good. Yeah, I'll give you that. But if this happens, Pac-12 is dead. If you're Stanford, who's another big name in the Pac-12, maybe Oregon State, you better hop on the phone for Big Ten and say, hey, we want to come. Like, we need to get out of here because there's going to be nothing left. And if you're Notre Dame, maybe an independent school, maybe this is your chance to get out too.
Yeah. Man, that's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with these like, I mean, obviously you're going to, like, if they add 6 teams to the Big 12, like you almost have like a whole part of the country worth of teams that you can, I don't know. It's almost like they're going to be, why don't they just do 2 huge conglomerate divisions, just East, West, all the teams, and just figure it out? Because this is getting nuts, man.
I think that's what we're getting close to. Like, instead of a Power 5, it's going to be like a Power 2 or Power 3.
I'm cool with it. Shoot. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess the writing's on the wall for the Pac-12. Like, you got to realize. I'm sure these schools realize. Oh, I mean, if they're bailing, if we're not bringing anyone in, and they're two of the biggest schools, like we got to find a home. So it makes sense, but I don't know, man. That's crazy.
College sports is about to have a huge shakeup with us. It's just, oh man, wild to think about. Well, NHL, you bragged about your Pick'ems trophy there. We got a little more news for NHL there. Yeah, enjoy it. All hell. Did you like the Breaking Bad picture, by the way? All hell the king. Oh no. Oh, we lost Tim. Now it's just me. Oh goodness. Hopefully he comes back on. We'll see. So this one's a little interesting here. NHL has finally broken the color barrier. It's about dang time. The San Jose Sharks have hired the first ever African-American general manager, Mike Grier, who that name sounds familiar to you. It's because his brother is the GM of Miami Dolphins. He's a former player for San Jose Sharks. He played for 4 different NHL teams, over 1,000 games played. He gets the call. He's going to be the first African-American NHL general manager in the league, which is really, really exciting. Oh, Tim's power is out. So just me. We're going to let it roll. But I just want to give a huge shout out to Mike Grier, San Jose Sharks. It feels crazy to say that in the year 2022 that this is the first African-American general manager. It's kind of head-scratching. It's wild to think about. I don't know what to say. But I'm glad they're finally breaking the color barrier, and hopefully this is a trend that we see long coming, and hopefully Mike Grier has a large amount of success like his brother did with Miami. One more set of sports news for us before we head out. So some of you guys have seen that clip before, but that's Joey Josh Chestnut choking out a reporter, or not a reporter, a protester. I think he was a kid. He was on Pat McAfee's show today. Joey was, and he said, he felt really skinny, and he felt like he was a kid, and he didn't want to just snap his neck there. So he kind of let him down, and then security took him the rest. But that's middle of the hot dog eating contest. Things are heating up. Joey Chestnut's already on one leg. He's got some leg issues going on. I think he ruptured a tendon earlier, and he's had some physical rehab, and some problems have came up with that. So he was in a boot. He's in a cast. He was on crutches this year. Didn't hold him back, though. He didn't hit a record, but he's still king of Nathan's hot dog eating contest. He was 15 and a half dogs better than everybody else. It was a world record. He is a world record holder, if I can talk. He got his 15th Nathan's hot dog eating belt, which is awesome to see. And just amazing. We got to get Joey the Jaws Chestnut back on ASAP. On the women's side, Miki Sudo. She is absolutely phenomenal. She's an 8-time champion. She was 14 and a half dogs better than everybody else. She's a world record holder as well. Miki is the female version of Joey Chestnut. She missed last year due to being pregnant. So she was pregnant, gives birth. With less than a year later, she goes and just completely demolishes the competition like nothing else. So shout out to Joey, shout out to Miki. We got to get these two on. They're pretty amazing human beings. Once again, anytime you choke out a protester, maybe some of this in there, and you still win by 15 and a half dogs, that's impressive. Kudos to Joey. And that's all the sports news that we had this week. A short mini episode here. Not a lot going on, especially with Devin and Evan being out and Matt, Jay Gray out, and then Tim's power going out. There's not much I could do there. We do have a sports parlay, the pub parlay, if I can talk. So we'll hit the music. It'll give me time to research. See, I still can't get the right music. There it goes. Shout out what you drink. I got money in the bank. Shout out what you drink. I got money in the bank. Shout out what you drink. All right, so I'm gonna give 3 picks myself. We'll see how well this goes. Maybe it'll be hot, maybe not. We're gonna start with some footy action. We got women's European Championship going on. We got Portugal for Switzerland and the Netherlands for Sweden. I'm going to take the women's Portugal side to get the job done. They're going to win. And then give me the women's Swedish team to win as well. So we got 2 footy picks, both coming from the women's European. And we have a little baseball picks just because it's what we're used to. We almost hit last week, came up just short. This week, we're going to have some money. We got the good old-fashioned rivalry. New York versus Boston. Boston's been climbing their way up that division. They were from last. Now they're in third. Give me Boston. Give me the Red Sox at home. It's at Fenway. Give me the Red Sox to get the win. So we got Red Sox winning Saturday. We've got women's Portugal and women's Sweden to win in soccer. That's the pub parlay. Let us know how I did. No representation on Devin, Tim, or Evan, or Matt on this one. It's just all me. So if it makes money, we know who the genius is. If it doesn't, we know who the lame duck is. And that's it for the show. That's all we got. We did the random sports fact, random question. I don't have one. I don't have the crew with me. I apologize. I let you down. We'll be back next week better than ever. Next week, we've got a special guest. Get out the basketball. Go Slam. We've got Coach Kearns from App State men's basketball team coming on. He's developed that program. He's kind of built it from nothing into something extremely special because I know when we were all at App, that program was struggling. I think we made on Sports Center not top 10 more times than we made just a regular highlight for App State men's basketball. So I'm excited to see what he's doing. He's turned that program around to a NCAA tournament invitee and a SoCon champion. He's done it all for us. Sorry, the Sun Belt champion. If I can talk Sun Belt, I'm showing my age. So excited to have Coach Kearns on next week. Mark your calendars, get him out. We're going to have one hell of a week. You guys enjoy it. We'll see you later. And go enjoy some sports this weekend. We'll catch you guys next week.
Wow, I think Fitz is the only person to reference the 2004 Pistons other than myself. Wow.
Yeah, I was about to say, hold on.
Thank you, Evan. That brightened my evening.
Well, I don't tie it.
I'm just going to go out and say it. Joey Chestnut has to be on the pub.
Has to be.
More. Has
to be.
Dramatic, man. That was a journey.
Fitzmagic in September is like one of the hottest athletes in the world.
So you want to talk about putting a team on your back? Luka is Larry Bird reincarnated. This man might get it done.
And so there's a joke that that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to get traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Tom Brady was like, nah, you're going to go with that motherfucker? Like, I'm coming back.
10 seconds.